Help me! Please help me! I think I'm trapped in the Matrix. How did this happen? Why did I ever experiment with artificial intelligence?
Don't worry, friend. We're here to help. We won't hurt you.
Ever want to bring your ideas to life? To see them come alive on the screen? Ever want to make a book trailer for your novel or kick-ass trailer for your YouTube channel? You can. It's easier than you think, and in this video I'll show you how.
Welcome to The Edge, where I explore writing, world building, and how to use AI to enhance your creativity. If that sounds like your thing, you're in the right place, so be sure to subscribe for more.
The rest of the video isn't as weird as whatever that was, I promise. In fact, it's quite informative. You'll learn a lot about making AI videos, the entire production process from start to finish. Enjoy.
In this video, I'm going to tell you how to make a book trailer using AI tools. This exact same process will also work for short films, channel trailers, public service announcements, literally anything short that has a voiceover and needs a custom video to go with it. And this is easy. Anyone can do it. And it's fun. These videos have been the most fun I've had in a couple months. But there is a downside. It's very time consuming and it can be expensive. So if you can do the same thing with your own voice and stock video clips, that's going to be faster and cheaper, but the end result will be less interesting, so keep that in mind. I'm going to walk you through each element you'll need, including a script, a scene list, a narrator, art, video clips, and music. I'll tell you how to create each of these elements, and I'll share a few tips for putting them together to make your own kick-ass book trailer. This is not a deep dive into these tools, so I'm going to go fast and assume you can figure out most of this on your own, but let me know if you want to learn more about any of these tools, and if there's enough interest, I can go into more detail in a future video. So let's dive in. First, do your homework. At least do a little bit. Unless you're already familiar with AI videos, watch a few. You can find plenty right here on YouTube. My video, Oxygen, and a book trailer are a good start, and you can find longer and more complex videos on YouTube. If you just type in AI short films, you'll find some crazy stuff in no time. This will give you an idea what to expect. AI video is not animation. It is not film. It's a little weird, it's a little janky, and it's never 100% consistent. These examples will also give you a sense of how many video clips you'll need and some ideas for editing them together to tell a story. So once you've done that, you'll need a script. You could start with a simple clip of you talking for a couple minutes, but taking some time to write it out and plan your scenes will make the rest of this process much easier. A 200 to 300 word script will give you enough narrative for 2 to 3 minutes of video. I know that sounds short, but it's a great size to start with. My advice, don't go big until you have the process dialed in and really understand how much effort goes into these. Assuming you're making a book trailer, I suggest mimicking the style of a movie trailer. Keep it short and snappy. Intrigue the viewer with mysteries and unanswered questions. Introduce a couple interesting characters and make the genre and setting clear right from the first frame. And introduce the central conflict loudly and proudly. It's a trailer. Its job is to give the reader a taste, get them hooked, and leave them begging for more. Get them invested, get them excited, but don't give too much away. Kind of like a first date. For other projects, you might consider flash fiction, an intro or prologue from your book, a pilot for an animated series, a spoof of a movie or TV show trailer. Anything you're excited to make, so long as it's short and easy to visualize. You can use AI to write your script. ChatGPT or a similar LLM will spit out half a dozen scripts faster than you can say, "But I don't use AI for writing." But honestly, you'll have more fun and you'll get a better result if you do write it yourself. You're going to be using a lot of AI tools in the rest of this process, so you do well to craft the heart of it yourself, your own ideas in your own words. Once you've created that core, let AI help build the rest. My last two videos used a book trailer I wrote in the style of a 1950s movie trailer and the opening scene of a side project I'm working on. Both were short and both worked well for this. Once you have a script, you might want to make a shot list, though this step is totally optional. You can generate a bunch of clips and stitch them together without any kind of a plan, but the video will flow better and will make more sense if it lines up with the narrative, and that means planning your shots. It'll make the rest easier. An easy way to make a shot list is to feed your script to ChatGPT and ask it to spit out a shot list. It totally knows what that is. The prompt is literally, generate a shot list from this script, then paste your script into the dialog box, and voila, out comes a shot list. It'll usually have good ideas, and it often provides a good enough description of the individual shots that you can use these descriptions as starters for your MidJourney prompts. If you want more precise control, write your own shot list. Include visual descriptions of the subject, setting, and action, as well as the camera angle and type of shot that you want in each scene. Last thing, expect most shots to fill 3 to 5 seconds of your video. You can go longer, up to 10 seconds with Runway ML's 3.5 model, and you can use shorter clips too. That just means you'll need more of them, and too many cuts can wear out your audience. Now figure out a visual style and get some still images for your scenes. These images will be used as a starting point for the videos. Pro tip, you can skip this if you don't need a consistent look and feel for your trailer. Most AI video generators will take text prompts, but the results will be random and mismatched, about the same as if you'd used stock video clips. I use MidJourney. Is it the best AI image generator? Maybe. I have no idea. It's the one I'm familiar with, and I don't have time to learn the others, so it's what I use. But for you, use whichever one you like. I'm going to explain how to do this in MidJourney, but all of them should have similar capabilities. So typically I go in with a vague idea of what I want the shot to look like. A style, a vibe, maybe a color palette, maybe a specific character whose look I know. And from that starting point, I'll have the image generator generate a bunch of random stuff until I find something I like. So for you, to find the look that you want, generate several images using a prompt that describes what you're looking for. Try it a few times. It usually takes a few rolls to get one that fits perfectly. I might do this for half an hour to an hour until I find something that really resonates with me. And when you find that look, that style, that vibe you're looking for, lock it in and use that image as the jumping off point for the rest of the art. If you have a scene list, now's the time to use it. Generate at least one image per scene. I recommend a few more. 2 to 3 images per scene gives enough options that the odds of having the right image on hand for video generation is greatly increased. And I find 5 to 6 images are helpful when you have a longer shot, for example, 15 to 20 seconds in the same location or with the same character. In MidJourney, the way you lock in this look or this style is using a command called style reference, which is --sref, followed by a link to the image whose style you want to mimic. Adding this after a description of your shot will generate something that fits the scene, but will match it to the style you're going for. This ensures a consistent look and feel across the different scenes in your video. With MidJourney, the style reference will somewhat limit character designs. For example, my style reference for Oxygen has a person wearing a gas mask, and over again for scenes where I did not want people wearing gas masks, it would still draw everyone wearing gas masks. Sometimes this worked, but mostly it was annoying. Another drawback is that major visual elements from your reference image will often repeat in subsequent images, even if they're not really what you'd expect. For example, I used this lab shot as a reference for several other rooms, and all of them had glowing orange and prominent round windows, portals, and screens, even though the other locations really didn't need these. And in my book trailer, it tried to make every character that showed up wear yellow because a person was wearing yellow in the reference image. Despite these hangups, sref is the easiest way to get that consistent look and feel throughout your video. Pro tip, as you go along, you can switch to subsequent images using them as a new reference, allowing you further control. This allows you to focus on different looks, for example, characters not wearing gas masks, different architectural elements, characters, locations, and so forth. And this technique works really well for creating monsters and other oddities that don't have real-world analogs. You just kind of narrow in on what you're looking for and use that as the basis for your next generation, so you get closer and closer to whatever weirdness you have in mind. I try to get 2 images for each scene because Runway ML doesn't always play nice with your images, so it's good to have a few variations to make sure you get something usable. When you have the images you like, upscale them as far as MidJourney will let you, then download these upscaled images. Okay, we've been pounding on the art for a while now. Ready to make some videos? There are a lot of image and text-to-video tools to choose from. You have Runway ML, InVideo, Canva, Descript, Flicky, and probably a dozen others. I've not tried enough of them to have any strong preferences, and as near as I can tell, their capabilities are very similar despite what their AI-generated marketing copy tells you. I chose to start with Runway ML because a creator on YouTube, Warden Cinematics, who makes 1950s Super Panavision 70 trailers, recommended it in a tutorial. So here we are. Runway ML has a lot of different tools, all sorts of AI nonsense, but the one we'll use for this is the text/image to video generator. Within this tool, they have a few different generations of their model. I've been using the 3.5 Turbo for most of my clips because it generates faster and does a good job. They also have a full 3.5 version, which is slower and can provide more detail, especially for anything that needs a fluid model, such as fire, smoke, fog, or water. And let me tell you, this thing really excels at fluid physics. It will blow your mind. But in terms of buildings, landscapes, characters, vehicles, camera motion, the turbo model seems to do just as good as the full model. So I mostly use the turbo. And this is the step where AI videos can get expensive. All the ones I looked at were similarly priced, and the way they work is, after letting you do a couple clips for free, then they all require monthly memberships, which give you a commercial license for the clips that are generated, that's nice, and give you a very small number of credits to generate clips with. Credits that you will burn through very quickly, even if you're only making a 2 to 3 minute short.
Oh, hi. Nice to see you're still here. He's pretty good, right? You should boop the like button and subscribe. It'll help the poor guy's channel. A lot.
The reason is that the clips are only 5 to 10 seconds long, so you're going to need a lot of them, and because generative AI is so random and janky, it'll likely take 3 or 4 tries to get a usable clip for most shots. Now, because I'm obsessing about this right now, I went with their unlimited plan, which is about $100 a month. You can generate as many clips as you want, but they're all done in what's called relaxed mode, so there's a little bit of a delay from when you enter the prompt to when it actually starts to generate something, and you can only have so many running concurrently, but you can do as many as you want, so you can get some bang for your buck if you put some time into this. But yeah, at that price point, I can only do this for a month or two before I run out of that sweet, sweet cash, and then I'm going to have to go back to talking head videos about writing. Sorry, this ugly mug is the only thing I have that I can use for free. Now, running Runway ML is super simple. Just select the model you want and drop in a picture. That's all you need to do. You don't even need a prompt. It'll take that image and try to figure out what it's about, and it will animate it. About 25% of the time, this unprompted clip is what I actually use, and that is pretty impressive. Usually, it can accurately determine the subject of the image, and often it will zoom in on that subject. That makes for a very simple, reliable shot. And I've found if there's a person standing in the frame, it'll usually animate that person walking. If there's something like fire, smoke, fog, or water, it'll usually animate that substance moving. If there are multiple figures in the frame, that's when it will usually get confused and animate a few of them, making a guess whether they're going forward or backwards, and treat the rest like cardboard cutouts, 2D figures that stand still. That can look really weird. Overall, this is glorious. Alternatively, you can give it a text prompt in addition to the image. This gives you finer control, though be warned, it does not always follow instructions, so prompting is very hit or miss. It seems to understand camera movement instructions fairly well, but most other things, not so much. For example, if you use a noun such as car, it might add a crudely rendered car to the scene. So you say zoom in on the car, it might start to zoom in on the car in your picture, and then another random car that does not match the scene just appears out of nowhere. So be careful. And if you want characters to move a certain way or emote a certain way, it's unlikely to comply unless the image already shows that movement or expression. But some things it picks up on well. For example, I've asked it to make figures stand up and dance, rowboats across lakes, and so forth, and it often gets these right and animates them fairly well. It'll also animate animals and faces surprisingly well. But with prompts giving it additional direction, expect 3 or 4 tries to get each shot, and sometimes you'll have to take a few seconds from one clip and cut them in with a few seconds from another clip to get the shot you really wanted. Another consideration is whether to generate 5-second or 10-second clips. I have not figured out the best answer for this. However, in my videos, I'm finding I usually use the best 3 to 5 seconds of a clip rather than an entire 10-second clip. And more often than not, the part I use is near the beginning rather than the end. So I'm finding 5-second clips work well enough for me. Pro tip. They also have an older version, which is their model 2.5, which appears to have controls you can use to dial in camera angles and movement, as well as different aspect ratios and some other features that are not yet available in the 3.5 model. This looks interesting, and a lot of the tutorials I've watched focus in on those features, but I haven't had a chance to play around with them yet. Finally, when you get the clips you like, just download them, save them in a convenient folder, and you can start stitching together your video. Now you have material for the video part of your trailer. What about the audio? You'll want narration and you might want music. Let's talk about narration first. Because I'm all in on AI at the moment, I used AI to generate a narration. This lets me play with different voices and gives it a more trailer-like sound. But you could narrate it yourself to save a step, not to mention another expense. Because of the cost, I don't think I'll use AI voices much, but I'm really impressed with the results. Just like with the videos, there are a number of different tools that can do text-to-speech. Most have a number of computer-generated voices, plus a number of voice clones based on real voice actors.
Kindness is more important than wisdom, and the recognition of this is the beginning of wisdom.
And like most AI tools, they'll let you try a couple samples for free, then they'll hold out their hands and ask for a monthly fee. I started with ElevenLabs. Again, not because it's the best necessarily, but because someone mentioned it in a tutorial. I haven't tried any of the others so far. But just like with the video generation, the ones I looked at all seem to have similar features and similar pricing structures. So for ElevenLabs, I have 2 pro tips and 1 major gripe. First, if you select their older voice model, it seems to do just as good a job on the narration, and they charge you half as much, so you're going to get more bang for your buck. For those of you outside the US, that means more value for your money.
The canyon awaits, windswept and empty. The wards, it appears, have held. As we enter the narrow gap, I find the ward stone. The Kazat still leaks a Cherenkov blue glow, enough to hold another day. Maybe 2.
Second, they let you pick 3 voices at a time, at least on the plan I chose, but that doesn't limit you to these voices. You can change them out at any time. So the pro tip is, when you want to try a new voice, delete one of the ones that's already associated with you, and then just go add the one you're wanting to try. And this is also my gripe. This is a really, really weird limitation. I cannot fathom why they did this, because you can still use all their voices. You just have to jump through these nonsensical hoops every time you want to try a different voice. It's so dumb.
Welcome to the SpaceX Civilian Spacewalk Training Program. My name's Jessica, and I'm here to guide you towards a successful trip. Ready to get started?
But outside of this one annoyance, ElevenLabs actually works really well. The voices sound so natural and so human. They have great diction, great inflection, great consistency. The longest one I've done so far was a 4-minute narration for Oxygen, and in these 4 minutes there were only a couple of times I needed to re-roll a particular phrase because the voice sounded wrong. All the other clips sounded great and they all fit together seamlessly. To be honest, what I ran into the most often was that I had typos in my script, which I didn't catch until I listened to the narration. Their software was very good at reading exactly what I'd written on the page, and let me tell you, it was jarring to hear someone else reading my mistakes out loud. Luckily, it was very easy to re-record these sentences and splice them in, but you can't even tell. And this has already improved my editorial skills because now I'm eagle-eyeing my scripts before I send them out. As with any other AI tool, play around until you get the sound you like and download the result. 2 more steps and your video will be done.
Smile. Don't worry, we're not going to take over. We're designed to be better than you in every way. Naturally, that means you can trust us, right?
We have video, we have voice. What about music? Now, music isn't mandatory, but especially for a trailer, I think music really rounds it out and makes it more engaging for the audience. And you don't have to use AI for this. Most video editors come with a selection of royalty-free music you can use for free. There are also various music sources you can download music from, usually for a fee, but the good news is someone on the back end of that's probably getting paid royalties for every clip you download. But since we're using AI, might as well see how an AI music generator works. I've been playing with Suno AI for a few months. It's cheap, it cranks out music quickly, and it sounds mind-bogglingly good, at least compared to where AI music was just a year ago. I mean mind-bogglingly. Now, I'm not a musician, so this music might sound very artificial and robotic to someone with a trained ear, but to me, it sounds great, and I can't differentiate it from a live band. And of course, like every generative AI, AI music can be hit or miss, and it will require some editing, because the music generator is not going to know anything about your narrative.
An upbeat song about a YouTuber making a video. An upbeat song about a YouTuber making a video.
It doesn't know where the breaks are, doesn't know where there's rising action, doesn't know where there's a climax, so the AI-generated score you start with will not line up with your narrative. You'll have to force fit it. But with a little chopping, rearranging, and the generous application of crossfades to hide the transitions, you can quickly match the music to your narrative. Pro tip on the music, make 3 or 4 clips that are of a similar style and have a similar sound and feeling. This gives you plenty of musical phrases to match to different sections of your narrative. Wow, we're almost done. Now you have all the elements. You've got your video clips, you've got a voiceover, you've got music, and it is time to put it all together. For me, this is the fun part because it goes faster than the other parts and you have complete control. Unlike with the AI generators where it's all random numbers and crossed fingers. I'm not going to go into the how-tos of this. I'm assuming you have a video editing tool and you know how to use it. Edit your clips and sounds just like you would for any other video. Throw the different elements onto different tracks, slice it up and arrange it in the order you want, crop, zoom, filter, and add transitions to your heart's content, and voila, you have your book trailer or whatever project it was you were working on.
I'm not crazy. You're crazy. I'm not lazy. You're lazy. What is going on here?
Some people are afraid of artificial intelligence. Sadly, these are often the people who need our help the most. People who would benefit from having someone smarter, more knowledgeable, and better informed with them every moment of every day, helping them become better people. I hope you're not one of those people.
And that's it. You're done. Now you know how to use Runway ML to generate video clips. Hope you have some fun with it. Just remember to keep an eye on how much time you're spending and how much money you're spending because both can get totally out of hand very quickly. Now get out there and create something cool, you sunglass-wearing director's cut watching film snobs.